Thank you for joining the webinar today. My name is Mike Wood, and we are going to be talking today about the value of thrift store picking. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, picking is a phrase that was coined in recent years to talk about people who are able to go to garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores, and pick out the items that are actually valuable for them to be able to make money with and resell. So that's where that term comes from. So we're going to talk a little bit here about going beyond just the basic. I mean, obviously we've got value from picking if we find an item that has value, right? That's kind of obvious. We can find items on a thrift store shelf that have value, and we'll be able to sell them. But we're going to go beyond that. We're going to talk a little bit here about how those items can help you come up with other items. And this will go beyond just the basics. This is going to help you to teach yourself how to be creative, how to think more creatively, how to really step outside the box and learn how to find items to sell. That's one of the biggest questions I think I ever get as a coach is, what should I sell? How do I know what to sell? This is actually a question that I got again today with somebody who called in for some help, asking, well, is this all there is to it? Is there a better way? What's a good way to do it? Well, there are a lot of ways, and some are better than others for different people. I wouldn't say there's a one-size-fits-all to anything. But what I want to do is show you some of the items that I've sold recently here and tell you how creative avenues and creative options brought these on one way or another. So, and this is a good one to start with here because this is one of my recent pride and joy situations. So I wrote a book, right? I wrote the book on how to sell on eBay. So in case you were wondering who wrote the book. So this is a book that I wrote that I recently published, and I have it available on Amazon. And so I decided to go put it into eBay as well. And so it is now for sale on eBay as well as Amazon. And what I've done with this is I made this a drop ship book. So this is definitely something that came out of, this is a conglomerate. I'm taking all of my experience over the last 20 years, all the different things I've learned, all of the strategies, all the ways to find product, all of these things. I'm trying to take it all and just stuff it in this one book that shares this insight. And so not only do I have all of these ideas and strategies and products in my head that I can now sell on eBay because of the creative things I've done over the years, but this is a product that came out of that. Out of my creativity, I actually wrote down my experiences and published a book that I now sell on eBay. And this was the first sell for that book, so that's kind of fun. So that's one thing that came because of the experiences I've had over the years with creative strategies on eBay. Now, as we go down and start looking through some of these other items, there are many things that have come from either things I've seen in thrift stores or things I've seen in boxes of surplus or liquidation that I now am able to sell on a more consistent basis because I've seen it once, right? Or because I saw it at one time. Now, one of these items that we're looking at here is actually an item that I did get out of a thrift store / surplus box. Now this was technically a surplus box, but same general idea. A thrift store could have the same items. And so let's see if we can open that up here and get that there. Eric's asking how much my book is. My book is $23.97, I believe, on Amazon. You can go to Amazon.com and just search for Mike Wood eBay, and you'll find that book, The Truth About How to Sell on eBay. And a lot of it covers mindset, because that success doesn't come from what to sell. It's not about the products. The success comes from having the right mindset, teaching yourself to be creative, to be positive, to always look for the next thing that we can do. So I like to open things here in a new window, so I'm going to do that in a new tab here, not window, but a new tab, so that we can quickly and easily get to it. And I'm going to close a few of these tabs to see if that'll help speed up my my presentation here, because things are dragging. So anyway, this one, let's pull this up. So this was an item that I had no clue what it is, right? And so this is one of those things you can kind of think about as you're going through looking at things on the shelf at a thrift store. So here's a little item that easily you could find at a thrift store, something like this, or even this very item, and probably find $1 to $2 price tag on it. Okay, this is a conversion plug, or no, it's a plug that I guess goes in like an RV or something, and it sticks down. You drill a big hole at the top, and it goes in the top of a desk or a table or something like that, and then goes down underneath and plugs in. And so then it gives you a plug and the USB plugs as well. Or maybe it goes in a wall. I'm not sure even where it goes. I don't know. I don't know that much about it. What I do know is it was worth $21.97 to me on eBay. And so now I have that item in my memory bank, right? I'm never going to forget it. It's something that I'll always, if I see that somewhere or anything similar to it, my memory is going to say, oh, you sold one of those, right? And so everything you do creative, everything you research, that's going to stick in your brain. And believe it or not, it will be there. And someday you're going to see another one and you're going to realize, oh, that has money. I know what that is, right? That's worth money to me. And or that has value is what I meant to say. So the next thing that happens here is what if we want to do more of a drop ship model with our business? Maybe we don't want to spend all of our time with our business going out and finding products, right? Maybe we want to do a little bit where somebody else is shipping those products for us. We've talked about the pros and cons of that. I'm not going to get into that right now. We know that if we find this for $1 or $2 at a yard sale, estate sale, or thrift store, or surplus lot, or anything like that, well, we're going to make a whole lot more than if we find it on a drop ship model. However, we do know now, and this is a desktop port outlet. So, and it's not even for an RV necessarily. That's something that could go right here in my desk here in the office. What we know now is we have this in our brain as a product option that we might be able to come up with. So I'm going to go out to Amazon, and we're going to do a search here for this. And I'm just going to take those keywords right there, and we're going to copy that, and we're going to go search for that on Amazon. And so what I'm trying to show you is nope, that's not what I wanted to do there. It didn't copy it. So what I'm trying to do with this webinar is help you see how you can find ideas of what to sell because of what you see and research in thrift stores or similar places. Okay, so the value of what you find at a thrift store goes way beyond the value of the item right then and there and what you can make out of the item. It goes beyond that because now we have another possible product that we never would have thought of, right? I'm not going to go out and brainstorm for product and say, I want a desktop 2 USB port, 2 outlet receptacle, right? I'm not going to brainstorm for that. It's not going to be something that will come to my mind. But here we can see that there are all kinds of varieties of that type of product that we can purchase. And and so we can take what we research here and go look at Amazon and maybe find one. So here's one that's $49.99, and we can then go list that on eBay for a slightly higher price, and then buy it from here. So it gives us an idea. It gives us something to see and to recognize that there are other things out there. Here's some that are similar, like this one is similar to the one that I sold there. 1859, brand new. I sold it for $21.97, and it was very, very similar to that. Now that's not a big spread, but again, it's drop ship, right? But we might be able to find others that have more of a spread there as we look at that too. In fact, if we go up and look at how many are available here, we can see that there's quite a few of them available. 837 results for that search. Okay. So if you're willing to get out there and look at things, and instead of limiting yourself to what comes to you, we go out and look for the opportunities. That's one of the best benefits I can say you can get out of thrift store shopping. Here's another one. This one right here, and I've talked about this previously with some of you, if not in a webinar, but this is a GE range hood charcoal filter. And this is something that I sell for $12.99 on eBay, and I've sold dozens of these at least over the years. I originally had this from a surplus lot. I had a box full of these. Okay, but this is something that I made so much money with them, and I loved the product, and it was easy to ship. I was sad when I sold the last one and shipped the last one. I thought, gosh, it's too bad I don't have more of those, And then I got another sale. I had my inventory wrong. I got an order, and I thought, oh shoot, I've got to go cancel that order. I'm out. I don't have any more. And so I was about to cancel the order, and then I remembered what I teach you guys, right? Go research and see if you can find it somewhere else. And so I was able to find this product on Amazon, the same thing, but they use different numbers. So what I found was this has a measurement. And so I just looked at range hood charcoal filters and out on Amazon and looked at their measurements. I looked for images that looked similar to the shape and size, the dimensions I had. And sure enough, I found one that was selling under a different brand name and a different model number, same exact dimensions as I had. And so I listed, I continued my listing. I increased it, and I've sold multiple since I've done that, keeping it as a drop ship. Now, I bought that box of them for probably $5 or $10 for, I don't know, 50 to 100 of them that I sold over the last couple of years here that I finally sold out. So I made a killing on those, right? Over time, I made a lot more money there than I make drop ship. But again, we have the benefit of not having to handle the product here. I'm still clearing $4 for a couple of minutes of my time to go place that order. So that is something that, once again, I would not have thought of that had I not done some of the the surplus auction stuff. I've got a question here that somebody's asking and wanted to answer this because it is relevant to what we're talking about here. So if you do decide to do a drop ship, use another website. I do not recommend, for most of you, if you're new to all of this with online selling and stuff, I do not recommend that you buy from another eBay seller. Okay. Now, I do that sometimes myself, but I've got enough background and knowledge to know how to find one that I can trust. There's a lot that goes into that. Someday I might do an advanced webinar on that, but you got to be really careful about that. So you can buy from Amazon and have it shipped to your eBayer, but don't make it a habit to, especially with all of your items, to buy from another eBayer and ship it. One of the big problems with doing that is when they ship it out to your customer, they're going to enter a tracking number or have a tracking number automatically entered, And so you can't take that same tracking number and go put it into your listing because it's already in eBay's system. And so you can't re-enter it again. So that's one of the problems there. Another concern there is that you might run into making mistakes. Maybe you'll buy from somebody who's doing the same thing you're doing, and they don't really have it anymore because the supplier's out of stock or whatever. So yeah, I would recommend not, as a general rule, until you really, really, really know what you're doing, that you don't use eBay as a source for products. Okay. All right. Eric, you had a question there. You're saying the prices vary so much, hard to understand. Clarify that for me, would you? Put some notes into that question box, a little bit more detail to help me. If that's a question I need to clarify, I'd love to help out with that. Other products that I've come into, this one actually, I decided to do a drop ship on this because I bought a whole bunch of Allen wrenches, thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of Allen wrenches from a surplus lot. Got them at a great deal, but they're selling very slowly on eBay, and they're not selling on Amazon. But after I sold one, I saw some of these T-handle items and was talking to somebody, and I thought, well, gosh, I wonder if I could find that to sell, to resell. And sure enough, I found some that were available on Amazon for $15, and over on eBay, the same thing is selling for anywhere from $30 to $40. And so I did a listing up there and pretty much doubled my money, and the first one I sold was actually two of them. They didn't buy just one, they bought two. I put it on as a discount. Hey, if you buy two or more, you get a discount, right? So I'm making a little bit less, but overall I'm making more because it's two of them going in one shipment. So, all right, so let's go back to Eric's question here. The range of prices can be so wide, like $15 to $30, right? Yes, the prices are all over the place, and that's one of the things to keep in mind when you are selling something online. Don't get stuck in that idea of price wars. It is not about the price as much as you think. It really isn't. My son has proven this many times. He's smart. He's got a good teacher, right? But he's a smart kid. He's 17 and he's been selling on eBay a lot this year. And he's talked to me about times where he will lower the price, hoping that might get people's attention, and it doesn't sell the item. And then he raises the price back up, and after raising the price, that's when he sells the item. And so that's something that I found really interesting. Another trick that he'll do, he sells a lot of iPhones, and one of the things that he does with these iPhones is he'll put it at an inflated price. He'll buy it for $50. He wants to get 120 out of it, and so he'll list it at 130 or 140, and then allow people to make offers. And then he'll often get people that will come in and make an offer at the 120 price that he really wanted, and then he'll sell it for the 120. So there are all kinds of ways to play with that and to work with pricing. Just don't get stuck on thinking that price is everything. It's not. It really is not. And that may be the way you live your life, but not everybody is thinking about the cheapest possible product all the time. And a lot of people, especially when it's a buy it now product, they want it now, they want to move on with life. They don't want to spend a lot of time researching it. And so you'll find these products a lot of times that are selling for a wide range of pricing there. So and so yes, it is very much a psychology thing. Don't get hung up on that pricing. It is not about the price near as much as you might think. So here's another one that I got from a surplus lot. So again, because I found this at a surplus lot, and I've sold several of them. I've sold, look at that, 16 of these. Now guys, again, this is one of the things I want you to recognize about hands-on selling with eBay. Surplus, liquidation, thrift store items. I got a box of these at a surplus auction, and I have no idea how much I paid for these. I don't recall. Okay, and I had to do a little bit of research on them to figure out what they even were. I had no idea what these were when I saw it. I mean, obviously it's some kind of a light. It's got switches on it. It's going to go into something, but what are they for? I don't know. Right? So I researched it and found out from a number on the back that it had. I was able to go find that, oh, it's a dome light for vans or RVs or motorhomes. And that was an aha moment. Well, again, you can go do a search for dome light, van, RV, motorhome, right? Copy that, go search for it on Google, or go search for it on Amazon and find similar products. I probably got that whole box for, again, $5 or $6. And I've sold 16 of them for over $20 a piece. So I'm clearing a pretty sweet profit margin on each of those. And granted, if I were to find this somewhere and do a drop ship model, I may not have the same profit margin. But what have I found through this? I found that it's a proven seller, right? I'm not selling 16 of these a day. It's not a hot seller necessarily, but I have sold 16 of them. It is something that will sell, and if we were to go and research this on eBay, we'll see that there are many others that are similar items that are selling on eBay right now. And so what I have is another product idea, another potential item in my arsenal of things that I might be able to look for and sell, right? And so we can do that searching here on eBay. We can do the searching out on Google. We can do the searching on Amazon. Again, we're not going to find the item. We're not going to find a seller as a supplier on eBay, but we can do our research to find out of other similar items, how often they're selling. Are there other items that are somewhat like this that might sell more often? So we can do a little bit of that to kind of pre-sale research, I call it, when we're looking at things on eBay. But we can also go look for that same kind of product out over here on Amazon. And I've got so much running on this poor computer, and it doesn't have the power that I really need to run everything all at once. So it's not liking the searches here. So this brought up my dome light. What I'm going to do is we're just going to change this a little bit so it's not an exact match for my keywords. Take some of these words out. Put a space right there. Let's do this, and actually let's get rid of mobile home, and then run that search. And so this gives us, again, I'm taking what I've found, right? One thing that I found that I was able to sell, something that again I would not have thought of myself, but now I have it as something in my arsenal that I can sell. And we look at this and we say, okay, well, here's something I see 2 in a row of a different style. Maybe that's something that is more popular, right? Here's another one of that style. Here's another one that has that style. Now here's one that's selling 5 of those for $29.99, and here's one that's selling 5 for $49.99, right? Talk about a wide difference in items. And so then we can look at that and say, okay, well, there's 2,590 of them that are active. What about sold items? So we see 2,590 or 2,599 of active items. All right, we go in and look at how many have sold. Well, it's close to 50% sell-through rate. That's pretty good, right? Now we can look at this and we can see that we have this one here, 2-pack, that sold for $14.99, and right down here we've got a 2-pack that sold for $19.99, And they're very similar products. Again, don't get hung up on the pricing. And as we scroll down, we can see there's the 5-pack that sold for $49.99. Right? Well, if somebody's selling it for $25, we could probably find it out on the internet somewhere, and we might find maybe a website that specializes in RV parts that has those. Right? Here we've got somebody selling just the internal part of it. So there's all kinds of possibilities that can come out of what we find that we weren't looking for. So don't get caught up on trying to pound your head, to think, what can I sell, what can I sell, what can I sell? Go to the thrift store. If you're just looking for ideas, if you're not going to go to the thrift store, find items, research them, and then sell them, go to Walmart. Go to a specialty store. Go to a home store. Look at all the products that are on the shelves and start making a list of the things you see, and then come back and research those. While you're there, look at the clearance and see if there's anything on steep clearance that you can sell as well. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to. I've got another question here. When we're dealing with these items that we are selling ourselves, how do you suggest that we store them? And this person also mentions that she's gone ahead and put them in a box ready to ship. That's fine. You can do that. It depends on how big you get with your business. The way I am right now, I have a shelving system in my garage. If you have a garage and you're going to do a lot of that hands-on, then yeah, keep it organized. One important tip I'll give you there is, let's say you go to the thrift store one day and you buy 10 items for $1. You've spent $10, okay? And you know that each of those is worth $40 or $50. You come home, you list them on eBay. Within 3 days, you sell one of those items, one of those $1 items for $40. So the first thing I want you to recognize here is you just made all your money back for all 10 of those items, right? So we have 10 items sitting on our shelf there. We've already made $40. That's $30 more than it cost us for all of that inventory. Another week goes by, nothing sells. Another week goes by, okay, one more item sells. Another $40. Now we've made $80 on that inventory, right? If 4 or 5 months goes by and you've only sold those 2 items, are you profitable? Yeah, right? If you decide that you don't want to wait for those other items to sell and you want to have that room to store other things, get rid of them and don't feel bad about it. Throw them out, give them away, take them back to the thrift store, whatever you want to do. Don't feel bad about it because you made all of your money back and 4 times, well, let's say 3 times profit from the first item, right? And so that's another thing where it goes back to mindset. A lot of times when you think about doing this hands-on approach, people get stuck on that idea of, well, where am I going to put it all? How am I going to store it? And things like that. Your circumstances aren't going to remain the way they are today. If you only have one room where you live and that's all you have for everything that you do, you've probably got a corner in that room where you could put a standing shelving unit, or maybe you have space under the bed, and if you don't, go find some free blocks of wood or cinder blocks or something like that and lift the bed up so that you do have space under there so that you've got somewhere to store it. The idea here is think creatively. Look for solutions. Look for the solutions and let the solutions guide you instead of the doubts and the worries and the problems guiding you. Okay? Too many of us spend our life looking at why we can't do something instead of looking at why we can. We need to focus on why we can. So how do I store it? Well, I've got a garage where I store a lot of this. We also have room in the basement. But as our business is growing and we have a lot of these things, one of the things we're looking at is we're going to move to a different property. We're going to buy a new house with property, with land, and one of the things that is in our goal, in our mind for that property is we want to have an outbuilding for my business. So everything's out of the house, all right? My circumstances that I have today are not what I'm going to have a month from now, a year from now. I'm going to improve. I'm going to change those circumstances. And yeah, it'll be a little bit tough and a little bit messy initially while I get there and while I work to grow and move into that other area, but I know I'm going to get there. Okay, so work with what you have, and don't be afraid to let things go after you've made your profit. Okay. I'm going to go through a few questions here and ask these. Hopefully, they're mostly related to what we're doing here. Somebody says, I was wondering, do you use a laptop or desktop? I use a laptop mostly these days. Here at work, I have a Mac Mini. At home, I have MacBook Pros. We've got 3 of them now that we use at home. So laptops are generally what I use. In regards to time management, how often do you check eBay and follow through with shipping? Do you take action after each notification or wait and do it all at the same time each day? I do my shipping first thing in the morning each day. You don't need to do it throughout the day. My son does that. He's 17. He's doing school from home. This is his job. So as soon as an item sells and he gets that notification, he's going, grabbing it from the shelf and bringing it up and printing the label. I don't do that. I do it once a day. That's the first thing I get up. I do a little. Drink some water, I do a little meditation, scripture reading, something like that to get my mind in the right place. Then I'll go and do my eBay. I don't usually do breakfast real early, at least not right after I get up. Breakfast comes several hours later. Usually it's closer to lunch than breakfast. So once a day is when I do that. And as far as time management goes, I think that's the best way to do it. Okay. Any recommendations on the shipping part, boxes and shippers, etc.? You know what? I'm going to get into that next week. So join me for next week. We'll go into that in more detail. Yes, I have a lot of suggestions on that, but we're going to do that in another webinar. Do you end it on eBay? I mean, do you? You do, but what reason? End it on eBay. If it sells, then of course that ends the item. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, Eric. Do I end it on eBay? If the item sells, it automatically ends the listing there. Will this be recorded so that I can watch it again? Yes, this webinar is being recorded, and I will upload it, and so this will be one that you'll have access to. Oh, with inventory. So, okay. So I guess you're referring back to Eric. You're talking about if we don't want to keep the inventory. Is that what you're saying? If I get rid of the inventory, do I end it on eBay? Yes. If I'm going to get rid of it and no longer want to worry about it, yeah, I'm going to, if I take that back to the thrift store or something, I'm going to end it on eBay first. So yeah, definitely. When you end an item, you just choose whatever random reason there is. So Eric's asking they ask for a reason that you're ending it. Most of the time, if you're ending a good till canceled item nowadays, eBay no longer asks for why you're ending it. We don't have to justify ourselves there anymore. But you could say anything. It doesn't matter. Changed mind, lost or stolen, whatever. Doesn't matter. But that usually isn't an issue anymore on eBay. If you have an auction item, that's where they might ask for that, but we're not going to do this with an auction, right? An auction is going to be a short term, you're 7 days, and either it sells or it doesn't. Now that's an interesting thing that just came up there as I'm talking through this. If I have an item that's worth $40, I paid $1 for it, it's going to cost me $4 or $5 to ship it, let's say $5, so $6 total is my cost. If I can sell that for minimum $10, I'm going to have $1.50 from eBay and PayPal fees. So add that to my money. So that's $7.30. So if I want to put it up as an auction, hoping that I can sell it. So if it doesn't sell, you could do this as not a first approach, but maybe you have it listed for a month or two, it doesn't sell. All right, try listing it as an auction. Put it up as a 7-day auction. started at a price that you're willing to take, rock bottom price. Hey, if I sell it for only $10, that's my opening price, $10.99, right? If that's all I get for it is one bid and I sell it for $10.99, hey, I've made $3. It's worth it, right? I'm going to have to do something with it anyway. I can either throw it away, I can give it away, I can take it back to the thrift store, or I can take it to the post office. So if it's worth $40, but you started as an auction at $10.99, then you can still make a little bit from it, even though you were hoping to make more. Okay. All right. That goes through all my questions. Thanks for being so attentive today, guys. I really appreciate that. I think I've hopefully given you some good ideas to think about and recognize. Bottom line is, when you go out to thrift stores, estate sales, things like that, and you have you open your mind and you have a creative mindset, you're going to see things that you don't know what they are. You're going to have to research them a little bit, and pretty soon you're going to start filling that brain with all kinds of possible products that you never even imagined, you didn't know were there. And that's what I hope that you'll get from this webinar tonight. All right, a couple of last questions we'll do here. Which liquidator do you use? I've used liquidation.com. A lot of times you got to do your research, make sure you're dealing only with well-manifested lots. If you buy one without a detailed manifest, you're usually going to get junk, and sometimes you'll still get junk. So be careful with it. What I try to do is find local estate sales or local surplus auctions. That is the approach that I would take, is look for things locally. If you go to an estate sale and you see other people there that you know that a lot of these people are going to this estate sale to buy stuff and resell it. So chat with them, introduce yourself, get to know people a little bit, ask them if they use any other resources or know of anything else, because a lot of times they'll be willing to tell you. And so you'll find about places locally that you never knew about. Okay. Yes, it can be a bit of a treasure hunt, and I hope that's the way you'll look at it, is to see it as treasure, because there's a lot out there, a lot of potential, and if you open up your mind, if you allow that creative thought, if you look at those things as though they have value when they're sitting on the thrift store shelf, pretty soon you're going to start finding stuff that does, and that's going to allow you, again, then you've got to open your brain a little bit more and think even more outside the box and recognize that there's even more you can do with it, right? I just had a visual that might help with this, so let's see if I can find an image to share what's going on in my head right here. So I had this visual idea of a box within a box. So thinking outside the box can go so far, right? If you say, okay, I'm going to think outside the box, I'm going to go look at items at thrift stores, that's something that I haven't done, I'm not comfortable with, so okay, let's go do it, right? Well, that's only one layer. That's what I want you to imagine here. So it's a box within a box within a box, right? So if you think about it that way, and we look at the possibilities of layers there, actually, I think I like this one better here, box within a box. So think about it this way: as you're starting to just expand your brain here a little bit, you're seeing the possibilities that I'm discussing here. You've opened this little box right here. Okay, this is your box. This is your paradigm that you've been living in. This little box right here, and now what you're doing is you're opening that box up and you're seeing, oh gosh, there's other things out here. There's more than just what's inside this little box, right? And you see that there's more. Now, keep in mind, when we're looking at this box, it's not opening the box and looking at what's inside. It's crawling out of the box to see what's outside, right? But if all we do is crawl out of this little box and find ourselves inside this little box right here, is there more growth? Is there more that we can do? You bet, right? We come outside of that little box and we say, oh gosh, there's all this out here, right? And we see more that's available. Every time you see something, your brain becomes creative and you see an opportunity, always think, is there more? Is there something more I can see? Is there more I can learn? Where else can this take me, right? And so that's what we're looking at here is recognize something that's there in the thrift store, that's there on the clearance shelf, that's there in the home goods store, whatever it is. When you see a product, look at that, go research it on eBay. Are there similar products selling? What other similar products? What other things come into mind, right? So right here in this box, I've gotten out of this and I've decided to go look at thrift store stuff. But now I see stuff in thrift stores and I realize, oh gosh, I could find that somewhere else, right? And so we get out into this box and then we realize, oh, there's more. It's not just these products, but as I'm looking at that, I see this other thing over here on the side, this little ad flashing at me, this little row of products down at the bottom of Amazon page, right? Guess what? Now we're out in this box. And then pretty soon we're out in this box. And then pretty soon we're out in this box. What happens when we get out here? When you can get to the point where your mind is so creative that everything you see is an opportunity, that's where your reality really starts to shift. That's where life gets exciting. Because out here, we're no longer limited. We're no longer limited by the walls of our life. We're no longer limited by our limitations. We're no longer holding ourselves within this paradigm and saying, I can't, because. Now we're saying anything's possible. I'm not limited to who I am today. I'm not limited to what I have today. I can grow exponentially, right? That's where I want you to get, is to keep stepping outside of those boxes and recognize that every time you feel like there's a roadblock or a stumbling block, you feel like you're being held back or something isn't as fun or isn't as lucrative or creative as you want it to be, there's something more. Don't focus on those doubts. Don't limit yourself to those doubts. Go beyond that. It's a mindset. That is what is going to free you and help you grow. Okay? So I hope that visual gives you something to really think about and recognize, to get out of that box. Get out there and look at the thrift stores. Get out there and look at the clearance items. Look at the flea markets. Look at the estate sales. Look at the yard sales. Wherever you can go, go find something that's open right now that will allow you to see some creative opportunities. Look at things you've never looked at before and research them. While you're at it, look at the things that are on the ground around you too, because you might find something right there on the ground in nature or in a vacant lot or something like that that is worth money as well. All right. Thank you all for joining tonight. That's all I have for you. Have a wonderful evening.